Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, that was Manowar with Hail and Kill from the King of Metal release. And a man who is, a king of metal, as you guys know, is my co-host here, Mr. Angry Andrew. How you doing, Andrew?
How we doing, sir?
Oh, hold on. They're already going back to docking. That's what happens when you let it play too long. Thank you, Don. We'll come back to you in a minute there, Donnie D. Let's get back to our other screen here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Classic metal wrap-up show. A technical catastrophe waiting to happen at any moment because Hank and ID won't befriend us and become a sponsor of the show.
Well, I mean, he did do that one commercial for us.
Well, that's true. But he won't actually come in here and fix the tech problems. You know, Andrew, time flies. It just flies on by. Here we are at the end of March 2026. And, I just got back from I was riding the docking bike through Death Valley. One thing I didn't realize, Andrew, is it's in the name. It's death. There's nothing alive in Death Valley. It's a hard ride. And my brother probably would have pussed out and turned around and went home,
Probably.
After a long vacation, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of things have happened in the rock and heavy metal world. I've been trying to keep myself abreast, but cell phone reception can be a little dark around Area 51, and Death Valley had zero, zilch, nada. I think my son counted one bird and one mouse he found in the whole trip to Death Valley. So death that's
all the life you're getting out there.
Oh, all you can find. Even the tortoises. They have these signs that say desert tortoise crossing, and you look for the desert tortoise. I never saw a fucking desert tortoise. He was hiding somewhere. It was too fucking hot. Even in the middle of March, it was 103 or 4 degrees down in there when we got in there. So, it was horrible. Anyways, we're back. After a long docking motorcycle ride through the American Southwest, I looked for Wild Mick. He wasn't at the local saloons in Castle Creek or Scottsdale or Glendale like I could find. So, Mick, if you're out there somewhere and you want a Tater shirt, you just link up with Old Evil and you're going to get a free Taters t-shirt because you are the originator. So, we came in with some Manowar because we want to get to this here, ladies and gentlemen. It is for those of us in the rock and metal world, it's been a little bit of a sad situation here as far as a man who played on really all the albums that you would consider to be the classics of Manowar. Ross the Boss has passed away, ladies and gentlemen, 72 years old. Rest in peace, Ross. Andrew, I was not a huge Manowar fan when I was younger. The cod pieces and the slightly homosexual nature of their appearance on stage in those days, it made me uncomfortable with my own masculinity. How about you, Andrew?
It always just looked like Masters of the Universe to me.
Yeah, it looked like He-Man outfits on stage. But the music, actually, as I've gotten older, I realize if you just separate the image from the music, the music is pretty good. They got some good stuff there. So hail and kill, Ross. Rest in peace. Recently it had been announced that he had ALS, and, no one wants to suffer from that, so maybe a quick exit might have been better than suffering forever, and 72 years old. So it's still a pretty solid run for a man that probably had a hell of a time from 81 or 89 or a long time, about 8 or 9 years he was in Manowar, the peak years. So rest in peace, Ross. That happened recently, and we just wanted to bring that up. We'll head back over here. We have some other things to discuss, Andrew, as you know. We're going to get to this guy. One thing that popped up recently while I was on the road. Let me see if I can find the right photo for him. He's in here somewhere. I know he is. I think this is him right here. Let's double check. Let's open it. Just open the photo. Just open the other one. What did we just use, Andrew? I don't even know that one. I think right there. Well,
There it is.
there is a man of the hour.
More.
He is back for more, and quite revealing. Well, first off, he's looking healthy, bro. Look at this.
He is.
Look at this.
Yeah.
We zoom in on Phil Lewis, and he's got mannequins and weird shit going on. This man here's got some pinball happening over there for himself or something, arcade game or something. No, not our pinball, but arcade game. And he's got, look at the records, proving that he's yes, slim and trim, looks healthy and ready to rock, I think is what he's saying, right?
He said he's ready to rock, and he seemed very grounded and down to earth, actually, in that interview.
Yes, he did. And let me see.
Displayed something that a lot of people can't display, which is accountability and remorse for things that he's not proud that he's said. And, bravo, sir.
And this was, if you guys don't know, this interview happened on the Hair Metal Guru. We'll give a shout out to Guru. We know some people, maybe former players on this show, don't have a lot of love for the Guru, but some of the interviews, I will say, long. I mean, you gotta invest a large section of your life in order to hear some of these interviews, ladies and gentlemen. But sensible Bobby B cut the interview down to about an hour and a half, and he had dinner plans. And but in that hour and a half, it was chock full of some information that for you CMSers out there, you might want to be abreast of. He had nothing at all good to say about Greenbaum.
No. He called him Jason Creep and Jason Ghoul.
Ghoul. He got him right on the Ghoul tracker. See, ladies and gentlemen, you think that we don't know? We do know. And the old Ghoul tracker, as time will wear on here, you'll look back to see the faces on the Ghoul tracker. You'll be like,
and you'll be like,
well, a couple I was joking around with, but they're guilty by association. But some of the others were spot on, as you're going to find out.
There's one on there that all I'll say is everybody that watches this show is well aware of, and you're very well aware of. And man, he really has a problem with anytime sexual assault gets brought up. Going, yeah, but that was years ago. Oh, I just gave away who it was. That shouldn't matter anymore.
Shouldn't there be? What does he say? What does he want? Not term limits. He wants statute of limitations.
But you know what's funny is when it came up in last night's show. And again, it was with, I think it was, I don't even know who they were talking about last night. I came in the middle of it, but he kind of got on his soapbox with that. And even Aiken went, well, no, I mean, if he did something like that, he's a piece of shit and fuck him. And I think Aiken's even getting tired of it.
Yeah, here's the situation. I don't think, because of the way that he leads his life, I can't possibly think that Brother Wendell would ever put himself in jeopardy as far as the legal system goes.
I think he's that afraid of women.
Yes, and I think that he realizes that maybe some of his closest friends or allies in the industry might be suspect and would hate to see other stories and revelations come out. And that's just all rumors and innuendo and allegedly. We don't even know what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. We're just guys over here commenting on the things we see and hear. But it was very telling that Mr. Bobby B used the term ghoul. And I thought that fit appropriately. And also made very which sounds about again. He people take because of Bob's attitude and his braggadociousness and stuff, but he basically probably did teach Greeny how to be a tour manager, and it sounds like Greeny almost screwed the pooch on a couple of occasions, whether intentionally or not, with mishandling the settlement, amongst other things, which would be
Which
kind of a
I have my own
catastrophic
theory,
situation. Yeah.
which is I don't know. And again, this is a theory, guys. This isn't confirmed, but being that he is a shady character, one of the things that Bobby had said was that he had misplaced the settlement, that Jason Green had almost lost or misplaced the settlement. And it just makes you wonder, did he misplace it? Or was maybe he trying to take something for himself? Don't know. That's a question. I don't have the
Just
answer.
don't know. Just don't know. But it's very clear that Bob doesn't trust him, and Bob, in his own way, if you listen to what Bob's saying in that interview, again, he's kind of. It's not just a you're a bad road manager. You're a piece of you're a slime ball, as he said in the previous one. He gives
Yeah.
you the hence the ghoul and the so yeah, Bobby didn't pull any punches and made it very clear that now that that has transpired in the SEP camp, that that may lead a path forward for Bobby B
Yes.
to get the old fedora back on the kit. Now, I think there's some bridges to cross or hurdles to cross or whatever with Warren D over there on the lead
Well,
guitar.
it's kind of interesting because if you listen to it, am I wrong in the way that I took it? Is that Bobby pretty much made it out like, yes, I might have said some stuff that I shouldn't have said in the heat of the moment when I was angry, and it was completely wrong for me to put that all out on social media, and I really should have just stayed silent and just kind of let it blow over. But
Mm-hmm.
also, there's things I was trying to do for the betterment of the band, and it all started because Steven and Juan wanted to be cut back in, and Warren said no, and I went, just let's cut them back in to avoid any problems. And Warren said he didn't want to go to the court over it. So then the band breaks up. So then I try to get it back together, and they don't want to play. So then I go and play, and then Warren turns around on me. Did you take it that way as well, or is that just me?
That is how I took it. Yes, pretty much spot on what you just said. You know, at this point in time, what is the value of the name if you guys aren't really anyone able to use it, and it's not anything less than 3 out of the 4 is going to be devalued. 4 out of the 4 would be ideal. If Juan is the hitching post, again, isn't there some way that, and now I guess he did very clearly say that there's legalities right now between Sep and
Steven
Juan over
and
that name.
Juan.
So if that could somehow get sorted out, whether Juan re-enters the picture on base or not, if Sepp could either get ownership of the Rat name, I would guess that you would see a Bobby B return to the kit if him and Bob are on speaking terms like Bob claims,
Yeah.
which also some credence can be lent to that because years
Wait,
ago when,
with Bobby and Steven,
yeah,
as far as them being on, they are. I can confirm that
yeah,
for a fact that they're absolutely on speaking terms, and they're definitely
yeah. And Bobby showed up at the Whiskey a couple years back and did play a couple songs with Sepp's band. So
and
I believe, yeah.
people in Sep's band are cool with Blots too. So I know that's how I know for a fact that it's fine as far as those two go. It's whatever's
Yeah,
going on with Steven and Juan and Warren and everybody except Steven.
yeah. So if Steven could somehow get ownership of that name, I think that would lead the path to Bobby having his opportunity to say a farewell from the kit and do a tour with the
Yeah,
guys. And even if Steven didn't, maybe there would be a situation where Juan would say either, okay, let's bury this hatchet and work this out, or pay me this much and I'm staying home and you guys go do what the fuck you want to do. Um, who knows? But the point is, I think I'm with, and then I was listening to some of Ferentinos's, the recent one you talked about, the live stream, and he mentioned that he could definitely see a situation where, never say never, as he said, Stephen was
yeah,
quoted. So I hopefully for the Blots, that's what would happen. I don't, it seems like he's physically capable of doing the drums and completing the tour. And I don't get, people were saying on the CMS last night, my brother Wendell and Aiken, that he needs the money. I don't really think that he needs the money. I think probably what he bilked out of the
Well, he even
last
said he
run.
doesn't.
Yeah.
He
So
said that they're all pretty good, and obviously, if you look at his setup, he clearly has a house. Now, I don't know if it's a mansion or not, but who cares? He has a fucking house.
I think
Um,
it's the same one he was in 5 years ago. He did the other interview
and
on
he
his kitchen
said,
counter or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and he said, um, he had made mention that, well, if we don't do it, whatever, I made peace with the situation. I'm just saying that I would like to get out there and say, so that to me sounds pretty content.
Yeah. So, hopefully I'm just hopeful for him and for this Rat fans. I think all of us would like to see one last run of Rat with as many of the original guys and maybe Carlos as they can. If Juan is not there and Matt's on base, I don't think any of us are going to be like, well, I'm not going to go see Blotz and Warren and Sepp. So that's still enough of Rat for me to want to go attend if it would ever come to my area of the Pacific Northwest, which it doesn't seem to do very often, once in a blue moon. So that was all good news. Obviously exposed the other guy that everyone seems to be having some, which I'm sure he's going to come up again later in the show for other reasons we'll mention.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully Bobby B can finally get his wish, and I'll reach out to him again, and the real Bobby me might have some other things to say on our show that weren't said on that show. We'll find out. So, one other thing that kind of came up that involved Blotzer recently on my radar for me that I should bring forward now. This is kind of an odd one, but if you guys can see the screen here, let me find the next one. It is where was the first comment made? Okay, it was here. So a while back, our friend Bob Leather jumped in here, and well, ladies and gentlemen, he's got Eric Clapton here, right? And he says, anyone fancy Eric Clapton? From his toes to his mouth. The beard, his taint, his ass hair, fake blues and musty breath. Imagine lifting up his semi-hard dick and it's damp. Choke it so hard. Choke him up to the point where his inner ass quivers and he explodes all over my Rat t-shirt. Now, Bobby, I'm thinking, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm guessing that Bob's response to this is going to be something more along the lines of this kind of a look to people jizzing on a
Yeah.
rat.
I kind of have the same response to that.
Nobody wants the jizz on Bob Leather's rat t-shirt, especially Bobby B. Now, an interesting twist of this is that later I'm scrolling and I realize there's another message that's come from the Mr. Leather, and it says, this is Bob's manager. When he mentioned he wanted to choke Eric Clapton, he was referring to his penis, not his throat. So maybe Slow Hands people reached out to Bob Leather and told him to clarify his statement. Oh, I love Bob Leather. And this is just a smidgen of what I get in my text, ladies and gentlemen, directly to my phone.
Yeah.
Which that'll come back later too, because he has suggested a segment which I'll bring up later in the show that we may have to cover. So that was how Bob Leather somehow made his way into the rat story with Eric Clapton and apparently his love for his musty breath. Okay. So moving forward here. Now, another thing that transpired while we were gone, and let me find this one, is that, well, let me see where it's at. This transpired, and we'll see what you think about this. It appears that your best friend Stevie Rochelle can't get to Australia. Good day, mate. I can't get to the land down under. So his tour was canceled, as you guys may have heard, and
Oh,
poor Stevie's got the tour canceled, but he was hitching his ride, so to speak, to, let me see if it's these guys. It's hard for me to tell. Got the wrong thing. Well, one of the purple that was definitely, I'm pretty sure this is it. He was hitching his ride to the tour to these guys.
yeah.
Now, my
Which
understanding was, what's that? Go ahead.
I said that's even kind of a surprise to me that they're going over there, that they're even known enough to go over there.
Yeah. So that was supposed to be the headliner was Trickster, which is these two. It's not even Gus and Pete. It's just these two, in case anyone's not knowing that. They were the headliner. I guess Stevie was going to be the middleman. And then they had everyone on the CMS's favorite grandma as the opener of the tour.
Yeah.
Now, speaking honestly here, if grandma's tits were on stage, that might have been something that Evil would have wanted to go see at my local club for $20 around the corner or something. But I'm not even so sure. I would probably rather see her than the other options on the bill. That's what I'm
Right.
trying to say. And then you'd have to ask yourself, Stevie, who the hell are you? Why would you think that this tour was going to go down, Stevie?
You know who he looks like in that picture there specifically? You know the guy that was in like Boy Meets World and My Name is Earl, and he was in like some of the Kevin Smith movies.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I
Like that guy, but like not as heavy. But he looks like
yes.
he could be like that guy's brother. I guess is more so.
But the people in Australia, Stevie, may be asking, who the hell are you? I mean, if you're
We should really. Matter of fact, we need to ask Tim James if he would have any
would
interest in that.
yeah, would he have gone to see that? There you go. Let me write that down. Let me put
Yeah.
that down on my here. TJ, would you have seen this bill? We're going to get him. I'm going to message him. And later, like I said, we're going to discuss. We'll talk to see if Kendall and she's going to come on too. I think about
Yeah.
some Metal Church and now some Jeff Tate news. So we'll get a hold of TJ and ask him, would he have gone to one of these shows if it was somewhere in his vicinity of Australia? I'm just saying, Stevie, did you really think that Trickster with just PJ and Steve and Lorraine Lewis's knockers, which we can see on OnlyFans for a few bucks from home, did you really think that was even if the guy had advertised this all properly, do you think that the flights, I mean, I understand even if you guys weren't getting paid very much and you guys were going to sell merch and that was going to be the way you're going to run the operation for this. I get it, but I just don't see how you could think that that tour was ever going to fly.
Well, Stevie heard that both of those bands were coming, and he's been looking to get out there, especially internationally. He's been waiting for the big one, and then it was a 1 in a million chance, so he jumped on it, and then it fell apart. And we'll see
There
how
you
many
go.
people picked up on that.
All those innuendos.
Yeah.
So, uh, well, so then Stevie obviously took this to Metal Sludge and posted about all the bands that have apparently not received payment from this Silverback touring. And this is alleged and rumored innuendo. We have no idea. We've never done any business with this Danny guy in Australia or Silverback touring. My understanding from what I'm reading is that he has brought some bands and had successful tours down there. And maybe some others weren't the as lucrative as he needed them to be, which may have put him in some of these financial straits. Was again, when you're owing Taiketo $13,000, my mind's asking, who would have ever agreed to pay Taiketo $13,000?
Well, yeah, for one song.
So, no offense there, Mr. Vaughn, but I'm just saying, that seems like an astronomical amount for a band.
I know that album, but most people only know the one song.
I know the one album and the one song, but the video that I saw one time. So, just saying that seems crazy in this day and age. How anyone, and I guess maybe he has had because he had some successful with PJ or something previously with Fozzy or something. But I think that's, call me crazy, but I think that's a Chris Jericho world famous wrestler guy thing that has pulls people to the Fozzy thing as much as Fozzy. And although he is a wrestler guy, make note, rock musicians, he tours the world with WWE and these wrestling things. He goes to England, he goes to Europe, he goes to Japan, he goes to Australia, and he wrestles, does all this for 30 years. People know who he is from that, regardless of Fozzy. And so when he's going to show up to some of these countries, there are wrestler guys who are going to go, hey, he's over there singing, doing this. I'm going to go check that out. And so although it's not rock related, and I've seen Fozzy one time and I've quickly realized there's a lot of tracks going on here. And although Rich Ward is a great guitar player, in my opinion, the vocals were very well orchestrated, almost to a T. At times he was not on the mic, and there was thing. So I was like, hey, okay, gotcha.
Well, you know,
All
just
good.
like this other gig, it's all never
Yeah. And that's if you're going to go see Chris Jericho, it's all there's going to be some sleight of hand. He's that's what it's kayfabe, right?
mind.
So there you go. But the thought that was, I just was like, why would you think that PJ and Steve were going to generate enough? And this guy's, especially with the oil prices, the cost of flights to Australia, and all, I mean, yeah, I mean, and then you guys were going to hope you sold enough merch while you're there to pay yourselves or something. I don't know. It just seemed like, yeah, probably best everyone just cancels that. Nix that idea. Get a better
Or you get
headliner.
fucking stranded.
And I'm not even knocking those guys. If the opportunity came, of course, anyone would want to go to Australia and play a couple of shows if you can make a few bucks and get your stuff
I don't
covered and
think
and see the land down under.
I don't think Stevie should be allowed to go to Australia unless he gets in the ring with the biggest kangaroo they can find.
So, you know, maybe get a better headliner and then the Trickster guys and then Stevie and then her and then, someone, I don't know,
Yeah.
Great White, Warrant, someone that's
You're
got a
picking
little
you're
more pull
picking
there.
a band with one song, a woman with two songs, and a guy with no
And a band with the one song that doesn't have the singer that everyone knows.
songs.
So that's like again, Dawkins without Dawn or Great White without Jack, and these things can exist if you get the right replacement and you can do it professionally in the right way. But it seems to be some people, in this case, they just decided to go with the other guy singing, who no one knew could even sing. And I'm not saying Steve's a bad singer; he's a good singer, but I'm just saying that's not Trickster to me. So at least have Pete at the front of the thing. That's who I saw live twice with Trickster when they were opening for Kiss and these other bands. So that is the and we should just bring in, because this ties into Stevie as well, as how do I put this gingerly? Allegedly, rumors and innuendo. That lawyer guy, what is his channel called again?
Sight, sounds, and flavors.
Sight, Sound, and Flavors. You guys should check that
This
out. It's a very
morning,
interesting channel.
this morning there was a video, and now there's not.
So maybe there's lawyers involved, maybe there's not. Who knows what's happening? But a video was up asking why Stevie and Metal Sludge was silent about the Ferentinos versus Green Bomb versus whoever else. It sounds like like the lawyer guy said, it sounds like a round table of people could be involved here. We're not involved because we don't know. We're just reading these things and watching videos on YouTube, but it was up at one point in time.
There it is. There's the link.
There it is.
When you click it,
Video has been removed. So maybe I'm gonna give the lawyer guy the benefit and saying maybe he's updating now that he's heard from you, and he's gonna redo a video and say, is there a question here? Is there a question of neutrality here with certain parties that run certain media sources? And we will just say that
that's an integrity issue for sure, personally.
yeah, I mean, again, I just will advocate this for everyone. If you have any shit on your face or your hands, just admit it. Speak your truth. Explain to people, and then apologize if they're necessary or whatever
Right.
seems to be. Yeah.
Every one of us at some point in our life has made the mistake of maybe trusting somebody that we shouldn't have. We're human beings. Every once in a while, the wool does get pulled over everybody's eyes, even if we usually have a good judgment of character. But you can kind of resolve that pretty quickly by going, "Hey, look, here's the deal. I didn't realize that motherfucker was like that. I don't condone that shit. Blah 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 blah. Done." And you owned your bullshit, and people are going to respect you now. But you know what happens when you run and hide like a coward? You look like a bitch. And when you look like a bitch, you lose respect. So to me, that's a don't get why.
And with anyone who's, these things pop up, and we all know as society, being informed is the key. Knowing that there might be questionable with this character, avoid them. That's the proper punishment. It's not, you see, there's this, what is it? How can I word this? Old school dumb ski fucking thinking. I'm just gonna say it straight. Old boomer mentality. If it hasn't been adjudicated in the court of law, then well, okay, hold on. Time out. We got guys running around out there that we know murdered people, disappeared people. Their ex-wives gone and on a missing poster, and he's out free running around because Johnny Law couldn't find the fucking body to put him in this clink. That doesn't mean he didn't do it. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't be informed that he might have had this activity before. And this same idea and principle applies to the chomos and to the rapists and to the wife beaters, in my opinion. When you go across these lines, these levels of violence, well, let's just say you're just a general assaultant, or like again, would you not want the public to be aware if this guy's got history of being associated with bank robbers? No, you might want the public to be aware this guy might be out robbing banks. You see him at the local Wells Fargo, you might want to call the law. So I'm just saying, you can't you can run and hide from all the things in the past that didn't have the internet. The internet is here and it's now providing immediate support to everyone discovering who you are, what you're about, what you do, where you go, what you're up to. This isn't just the United States government. This is the public now aware of all this with all the same, a lot of the same tools. I'm sure the government has a lot more we don't know about. So stop letting your ego run amok and thinking you won't get caught. You will. Golden State Killer, guys. He thought for fucking 40 years, 50 years, he was never going to get caught. And at 80 some years old, they shackled that motherfucker down, and now he's in a prison where he's going to die. Yep. So you can't run, dude. And that was in the 70s. Okay, I was a kid in the Northern California. It was a big thing growing up. This guy was running around every once in a while, raping and killing and doing shit. And now, at 80-something years old, he's locked up for his shit. So it's not possible. The technology is, you're not smarter than the technology. You cannot stay faster than the technology. It will catch you one way or the other. The DNA, something else, a witness, a video, a phone, an email, something, okay? An Instagram DM you thought you deleted. Let me tell you something. You may delete the account and you may delete this off your thing. That doesn't mean the FBI can't go back in there and ask them, I want that shit.
Wayback Machine and fucking find it if they want to.
So I would go even further with the court orders. They're going to have all the shit you've been messaging to anyone on their fucking hands if that's what they so choose. If they think you're a serial rapist, chomo, whatever these guys out. This goes for the broader spectrum. I'm not just talking about anyone in the rock. I'm talking about all over the world, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be happening more and more and more. So if you're a shitbag, your days are numbered, dude. Your best option probably right now is to walk into a police department if you committed felonies and you know you got DNA evidence somewhere that's going to link it to them and just walking to go, and I did it. Yeah, right. Let me save you guys the effort and put me in the cell and cop to it and hope that I get some leniency here. The rest of you that don't do that keep playing this shell game. You guys, well, if it's not proven yet, okay, yeah, well, whatever. When that later cost you a job interview, when that later cost you an endorsement deal, when that later cost you advertising because someone says, something about you stinks. I've read about some comment. I don't like that. Still fair, dude. You got what's coming to you. So right now, your lack of having, if you're just, let's just allegedly say with rumors and innuendo, you're a manager of a rock and roll band and you get your major star, maybe not just once, but twice, dumps you because of your questionable ethics and abilities to do the job. It's going to get around in those rock circles to the other people eventually that this is probably not someone you want. And then you're going to be left scrambling trying to get the D leaguers or the F leaguers to regroup and, God, you need to make a buck. So you can't hide from it, ladies and gentlemen. So my point is with all this saying is that, in the case of maybe some other guys who were supposed to go to Australia or other countries, who knows, and they didn't get to go there. And there's, now they're getting lawyers because they want to sue tour managers of other countries who didn't fulfill their agreements. But there might be other people out there, lawyers on YouTube or whatever, who are going to start asking, what did you know? And when did you know it? I'm telling you this, you can't. There's a certain amount of it you can get away with, and then there's a certain amount where it's just like, dude, if you did know something or you didn't say something, that could still get you into being called in for some questioning under deposition from a lawyer or a police officer, a detective from a police department if he's got a case that he thinks that you might have heard something. It doesn't mean you did it. It means you heard and said something, but you didn't say anything to anybody. You didn't bother to call the cops, which was probably the moral thing to do.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. As a guy who is legitimately has a lot of family, and I do mean a lot, over over that many in law enforcement in my family, you're not going to get away from them, dude. If they want you, if you're in their crosshairs, if you're in the middle of a felony investigation, good luck, dude. Good luck. So better if you just come out, even if you didn't do anything, and say, hey, I associate with a shithead. He's a shithead and I'm no longer associated. I'm sorry. Everybody watch out. The guy's a shithead. That's all you got to say, right? So
That's how I see it.
it's a lot of people, they keep, all these older guys keep making this a lot harder than it really is, though, right? So,
Well, I'll put
so
it this
anyways,
I'll tell a personal story. I have family members that they didn't do anything as heinous as like that, but they're a little bit of too much when it comes to being around people. If you get what I mean, like they didn't do anything like weird, but you still wouldn't really want to have them around other people.
mhm.
So when you just say, yeah, fuck you, I'm not stay over there. Don't care if you're blood. Same thing as if they're your friend and you realize that they do some really fucking sketchy shit that you don't want to have around people. It's okay to say, "Hey, peace," and then disown that connection. That's okay. A lot of people for whatever reason won't fucking do that. I don't get it.
And there's just, again, certain legalities that, we can get into morals and ethics, and that's all debatable. But then there's certain legalities of lines you just can't cross. And when you cross them, you're probably eventually going to have something coming to you, whether that's from the law or a lawyer or whatever. Who knows, God. But so in the case of these guys, it is odd that has still never hit Metal Sludge. No mention of it anywhere. Ferentinos is still on his show going on about it, ladies and gentlemen. So you can go in there and check in, and he doesn't pull any punches and still stands by his statements and has his receipts. And it sounds like, from the lawyer's channel, it sounds like there could be eventually a multiplayer dance here to sort out who's doing what, especially if
Dance.
the one main player whose name involves this color might try to get his wife or girlfriend to start doing the lawyer dance. I think the lawyer on YouTube's waiting for that. He's chomping at the bit to get into this with him.
Legally, she can't with him, and
Yeah,
especially
and
in that state because she's not registered in
yeah,
Nevada. She's registered in California, so she's
and
already
you
acting out.
guys remember there's that thing called discovery that's going to go along with any lawsuit, which means that lawyers start getting into everybody's emails and phone texts and all kinds of stuff, and they get to trade it with each other. And so that means the guy out there on YouTube might have managed to get his hands on some stuff that might actually say, hey, this looks like some real funky shit here. And he seems like the kind of guy who's looking for that. He's a smart man. So
Eric flat out said, I hope they do because I would love to get in the courtroom so I can actually turn over all the evidence that I have because I'm not going to rest until at the very bare minimum he's registered on Megan's Law.
Wow.
And ideally in fucking prison.
Which is how passionate he feels about the situation and with the information he has. So, and we don't even know, again, rumors, innuendo, allegedly, we're just hearing these things. And wow, I don't think he's the kind of person to just go out on a limb and put himself out there like that for funsies. So, it's just a real entanglement, but go follow the lawyer's channel and check that out. Keep an eye on Metal Sludge. Maybe eventually there will be a story at some point in time. I don't even understand, why wouldn't they at least hear Ferentinos as a guitar player from Sip's band? That's total Metal Sludge related. Why would they not at least hear that? Again, there's been so many stories on there that are rumors and innuendo and allegedly, and even Stevie's thing with Silverback Touring, rumors and innuendo. He's covered himself. Great. Good job, bro. So are we doing, that's what we're doing here. It never seemed to bother you before. So why would you not just do some more rumors and innuendos?
I'll tell you why. It's because, again, Stevie refuses to cover it because Jason Green's getting a lot of heat. And Stevie vouched for Jason Green during the whole Blotzer incident. And he can't believe that everything that he said about the guy that he was trying to defend turned out to be wrong. So now that Stevie's wrong, let's hide this let's protect my ego. Even if that means there's still potentially a shark in the fucking water. Let's protect my ego over warning people and going, Hey, look, I can't. I wasn't there. I don't know, but maybe just don't go around that guy.
And why is it so hard for everyone to just admit that Blotz was right? What is that? Why is that so hard?
Because
Is that because some of those guys don't like him?
they pop their fucking mouth off so bad that now that they're eating crow, they can't fathom that because they're so fucking fragile and weak with the ego bullshit that they can't even they can't believe they're fucking wrong about any of it.
So, anyways, that's all that big pile of steaming dung that's going on out there, from the canceled tours to videos that are up and down and things and going round and round, as Bobby B said, as Nikki Six, maybe Nikki Six. And by the way, although I would no interest in seeing Motley Crue without Mick, I can say for the fans out there, the Motley Crue Rat Tour should be happening. That's the bill I think everyone thinks that those two bands should be on tour together, maybe with a third opener or something, but give Rat a good hour and 15 or 20 minutes and a full set of crew. And who doesn't want to see those bands on the road together? That's makes total business sense. So anyways, moving forward, we have something here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to just take a moment here, a solemn moment. It's been 1 year since a tragedy happened to my older brother, and so we're gonna play something here in
Here,
remembrance, and then we'll.
let me leave this in. I'm gonna try to censor this out, but
Uh,
One of my employees come running through the door, yelling, "Wendell!"
I'll leave it there.
there you go. So you guys know what we're talking about. We'll bring this up so you guys can hear it. Let's, for just a moment here, let's bow our heads for just a second and enjoy this.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my
Thank you, Judy. Thank you very much. It was 3:27:25 at 3:34 p.m. when my brother Wendell lost his car to these hoodlums right here. These hoodlums right here came tearing in the parking lot and altered his life forever. And we want to honor that from 1 year ago. And if he had called me, Andrew, if he had called me, this is what Brother Evil would have shown up and done. Now you can see in the photo here as we zoom in, ladies and gentlemen, in case you guys haven't seen this before, Wendell was hiding in the porta potty. But I came out of the office like Rambo, ready to just light him up and try to get his car back. So that's what could have happened if he had just reached out. Instead of talking to the front desk, you should just immediately sent a text or a phone call to Evil and said, "I got a problem, Evil." I would have solved it. Solved it, Andrew. So unfortunately, the car, as you guys know, was burned out, pieced out, never to be seen again. Now he drives the truck, and so just that moment of silence for Brother Wendell. Hopefully, he's got his club on the truck somewhere right now, and he's keeping it safe. That's what we want him to do.
But it's poetic that he drives the
Yeah.
truck because as the old meme goes, you've heard of Elf on a shelf. Well, now you have Cuck in a truck.
And even though he's no longer on this show as a host, Ruben may think we hate him. We don't really hate you, Ruben, and we still find it absolutely hilarious that you should handle a club for his new truck. That is a classic moment. So tip of the hat to Ruben as well for doing that. And Ruben, if you ever want to return to the show, our door is always open to you. We know you're mad at me right now, and that's okay. People get mad at Evil all the time. It's a common occurrence. It's something about Evil's personality as the younger Neely. It just rubs everybody wrong. So, except for the few people in the rock industry that hire me as their roadie or whatever. So, well, moving on here. We have a couple other odd things that I found throughout the social media.
Raise your horn!